Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad IRFAN NAZRAN bin ISMAIL, metric number 1210595, and today I will be presenting about safety and health for working at height. I will be specifically presenting about subtopic safety measure and precautions. These are the content that I will be covering in this video. So let's get started with it. Okay, firstly, we are going to talk about PPE, which is stand for Personal Protective Equipment. So, there are type of PPE. These are the type of PPE that I will be using for working at height, which is harness, helmets, fall resistant, and non-slip footwear. For the harness, full body harness, this provides support to the entire body and are essential for preventing fall. We must positioning harness used to requiring hand-free work while being secure in place. Chest harness typically used for tasks with a risk of falling forward. Next is helmet. Hard hat with a chin strap is designed to protect against head injury and falling object and impacts. Chin strap is used to ensure the helmet stay in place during falls. Next is fall arrest system. It is a shock-absorbing lanyard that reduces the force experienced during fall. I also have a self-retracting lifeline, which automatically retract to take up slack and limit the fall distance. It also has anchorage point, which is to secure point for attaching fall arrest system, which is very crucial for their effectiveness. And for the last is non-slip footwear. It is a boot with appropriate tread. It provides stability and preventing slipping on leather and other elevated surfaces. Next, we are going to talk about the correct usage of PPE. Firstly is the inspection. We must do a regular check. Before each use, inspect PPE for any sign of wear, damage, or deterioration. We must also ensure that all PPE meet relevant safety standard and regulation. Second is donning and doffing. We must follow proper procedure for putting on and taking off PPE to ensure it fits correctly and provide maximum protection. We also need to conduct fit testing, which conduct a regular fit test to ensure PPE fits properly and comfortably for the users. Lastly is the storage. We must use a proper storage method, which is store PPE in a clean, dry place, away from direct sunlight and harsh chemical to prevent damage. We also need to avoid contamination. We must ensure PPE is stored separately from hazardous substance and keep it in good condition. Okay, for the second content of this video, it is a safe work practice. Here we will be covering ladder safety and scaffolding safety. For ladder safety, first is selection. As you know, there are some type of ladder, so we must choose the right ladder for the job. For example, step ladder or extension ladder. We must also consider the material based on the environment that the ladder will be used for, which is like fiberglass ladder for electrical work. Second is positioning. Stable surface. We must place the ladder on a firm level surface to prevent tripping. We must also calculate the correct angle. Uh, to keep it simple, we can use the 4 to 1 rules, which is for every 4 feet of ladder height, place one base foot away from the wall. And that is the climbing technique. We must remember the 3 point of contact, which is always have two hand and one foot, or 2 feet and one hand in contact with ladder at any time. We must also always face the ladder either when we are climbing up or down. And then we need to also avoid overreaching, which keep our body centered between the ladder rail to maintain balance. And the last for the ladder safety is inspection and maintenance. We must do a regular checks. Inspect the ladder before each use for any sign of damage such as crack, loose rung, or defective locks. We must also keep ladder clean and properly stored when not in use. And then for the scaffolding safety, first is the erection and dismantling. We must ensure that only trained and qualified personnel set up and dismantle scaffolding. They need to follow manufacturer instruction and guideline for safety assembly and disassembly. Second is load capacity, weight limit. We must do not exceed the maximum intended load, including workers, equipment, and materials. We must also be considering an even distribution. We must distribute the load evenly to avoid overloading any part of the scaffolding. And lastly is guardrail and planking. Guardrail, we must ensure the guardrail are installed on all open side of the scaffolding to prevent falling. Planking, we must only use scaffold grade planking that is in good condition and properly secured. Okay, next we will be talking about emergency preparedness. First is the rescue plan. Okay, for rescue plan, we got a rescue procedure. Rescue procedure is basically a step-by-step guide. It outlines detailed procedure for rescuing fallen workers, including initial assessment, rescue use of rescue equipment, and safe retrieval method. We must also stress the importance of quick and efficient response to minimize the injury of workers. Then we also need a designer rescuer. Trained personnel only. We must ensure specific individual are trained and designed as a rescue team members. We must also clarify the role, clearly define the role and responsibility of each team member during rescue operation. And then communication. We must have a clear channel. Establish and maintain clear communication channel for reporting emergency and coordinating rescues. We must also display and regularly update emergency contact number at worksite so that the workers know who to contact when emergency happen. Okay, next is the first aid procedures. First, it is training where we need to specific to the fall, right? Because we are talking about working at height. So provide first aid training that focus on treating injuries common to falls such as fractures, head injuries, and shock. We must also conduct regular training session to keep the first aid skill current. And then the first aid kit itself, we must ensure that the content are fully stocked with item necessary for treating of fall related injuries such as bandages, splints, and antiseptic. We don't want that when emergency happen and we open the first aid kit, there are some item that is missing and it's not restocked. The accessibility of the first aid kit is also important. We must place it in easily accessible location, clearly marked and known to all workers. Okay, last but not least is the worksite control. Here we have signage and barriers and also safety net. For signage and barrier, first is the warning sign itself. The placement of the warning sign must be strategic at all entry points to the area with height hazard and around the perimeter of hazardous zone. The type of sign that we can use for this warning sign is we can use clear and standardized symbol and text to indicate specific dangers such as caution, fall hazard, or wear for protection. And then barrier and guardrails. Physical barrier, we can install barriers such as guardrail and toolbox on edges, opening, and around high risk area to prevent accidental fall of the workers. Next is we can also use a temporary barrier. We can use temporary barrier like safety tape or portable guardrail for short-term projects or maintenance works only. Okay, next is the safety net. The first important thing is the installation of the safety net itself. We must have the proper setup, which ensures safety net are installed correctly, considering the manufacturer guideline, height, and distance requirements. The coverage of the safety net is also important. We need to extend the net sufficiently beyond the work area to catch falling worker or debris effectively. And then is the inspection and maintenance of the safety net. We must conduct regular checks. We must inspect nets for any damage and wear before its use, because damages safety net is as good as not having safety net at all. And maintenance, we must repair or replace damaged net promptly to ensure they remain effective. Okay, finally, for the conclusion, to summarize everything that have been said in the video, we can see that implementing proper safety measure and precaution is essential for preventing accident. It helps us comply with safety regulation and standard, avoiding legal and financial consequences. A safe work environment boosts workers' confidence, productivity, and morale. Ultimately, these measures are about protecting life and ensuring that every worker return home safely. Stay vigilant, always be aware of your surroundings, and adhere to safety protocol. Safety is a shared responsibility and require a collective commitment from everyone. Continuous improvement is key. Always seek way to enhance safety measure and stay updated with best practices. Remember, the goal is to protect life and ensure everyone return home safely at the end of the day. Thank you all for your attention and participation. I hope you take this knowledge and apply it in your daily work. That's all from me in this video. Thank you.